Hi there, friends. Welcome to the online session for how to find the right school for you and your child. The decision to go and choose a school for your child is a really important one, and it's important that you take the time to assess all your options and work out what school is going to be best for you, your child, and your lifestyle. The decision you make isn't just for prep, it is for 7 years. And if you have more than one child, it's a decision for 10 years or 15 years or in some lucky cases beyond that. The good news is that there are no bad schools in our area. All schools will deliver outstanding learning and teaching. But at the same time, all schools are slightly different. They'll have slightly different priorities, and they'll all have slightly different ways of doing things. During this session, I'll be giving you a few tips on what to look out for, questions to ask, and different ways of finding information about schools. I'll be talking about school zones, where to find accurate information about different schools, school tours and information sessions, what are schools showing you and what are they hiding, asking all the right questions, how to find out more about a school, the differences in the way that they deliver curriculum, composite classes versus straight classes and what the difference is, and sharing information with the school and your child's future teacher. So we'll start with school zones. Where you live is zoned to a particular school, but you don't necessarily have to go to that school. Some schools are very tightly zoned, but you can always go along for a tour and go to the information session at that particular school that you like. If you do happen to like it, put your name down on the waiting list as well. Even for schools that have historically been very tightly zoned, from time to time they do open up to children outside their zone for whatever reason, and you might be lucky. But don't guess when it comes to school zoning. Go along to the school, ask the school directly. Don't rely on other people in the community to tell you what schools do what with their zoning, because it does vary from school to school and it can vary from year to year. So make sure you get correct information regarding zoning. Next is where to find accurate information about schools. The good thing about schools is everybody's been to one, and therefore everyone has a really strong opinion about schools and what they should be doing and what's best for children and everything else that comes with that. The schools themselves are always going to be your best avenue for accurate information. So make sure you get that information directly from the school when you're on a school tour or at an information session. Again, don't rely on other people in the community to tell you what's what. Talking to friends and people you know are a great start, but make sure that their information is accurate as well, because things change and you don't want to be carrying somebody else's prejudices into a school tour or an information session before you've been able to go there for yourself. School tours and information sessions are the best way for you to get an idea of how the school operates. School tours are the best way to get a feel for the school. Quite often families that enroll with a particular school often talk about how they came on a school tour and they just felt a really good vibe and the school felt warm and caring and nurturing. The other thing you'll be able to see on a school tour is the way that people are interacting. School is a social place. Learning is a social construct. So you'll be able to see the way that teachers interact with other teachers, the way that teachers interact with students, and the way that students interact with each other. You'll be able to see the kind of learning that happens at the school and the way that the teachers and students see their learning. You'll see a lot about the philosophy about teachers and schools and their vision of what a learner is and how students go about getting that information, because it will vary from school to school. Prep information sessions are really important because it'll give you a really clear overview on what prep will look like and also the different programs that are offered throughout the school throughout the year. Remember, you are enrolling for prep, but you are enrolling for a whole journey of 7 years at the school. So while prep is on your mind at the moment, you also want to have a bit of an idea what the entire primary education at that school is going to look like for your child. While you are at the school tours and the information sessions, it'll be really obvious what the school is trying to show you and what they value. Then at the other side of that, what are they hiding or what don't they want you to see? Do you get to see all children in the school? What programs do you get to see? Do they take you to all areas of the school? Are there student leaders that you are able to talk to on your tour? And do you get to actually go into classrooms and see the learning that the children are doing and ask them about it? How do the children talk to you when you're on a school tour? How do the children look like they're engaging with what they're learning in the classroom? All these sorts of things are really important. These are all the sorts of things that you can't really get a sense of if you walk through the school on the weekend or just by attending the prep information night or the school information session. You need to be there while the children are there to get a full feel of what's actually happening. While you're at the school and you're seeing things and you're learning all sorts of things about the school and you're interacting with the school, outside of really personal questions that you might have for your child and the way that they learn and their particular needs, you want to get a feel for the values of the school and the philosophies of the teachers within the school. Something I recommend for prospective parents to do is to go into a school and find something that is in every classroom, in every school, and ask the teacher why they've done it in the way that they have. Something like the arrangement of the tables in the room. You can ask the teacher why they've set up their tables in the way that they have. And what you'll find is that you'll find out the teacher has really thought about it and they can convey part of their philosophy through the setting up of the tables, whether they believe education to be a social construct and therefore the tables are in small groups where they all look at each other. You'll find whether they believe as the teacher they have the knowledge and they're passing it on to the students, in which case all the desks will be facing the front and the center of the learning will be the teacher. Or you might find out that they haven't thought about it, they just need a certain amount of desks in the room and that's the best way that it fits in, like Tetris. Also, if you find things that are different between rooms, you can ask the teachers why their room is different from the last room you saw. This could reflect similar things to the last point I just made about teacher philosophy and why they do different things. It could also reflect the school management and the freedom that they give their teachers to make sure that they're teaching the best for the class that they have. Or it could reflect a teacher who is intentionally not doing what the rest of the school has been asked to do. So ask, put people on the spot with things like this. You'll find out if people are thinking about every little detail of their classroom or they're just there making up numbers. If you are looking for a starting point, or once you've been on a tour and you're looking for a little bit more information about a school, the school website's always a really great place to head along to. It's a great place to find out what social events are coming up, what the school values, and the way that they document things that are happening within the school community. Even the style of the website can give you a bit of an insight into the way that the school communicates with families and the community as well. Are there lots of pictures and not much substance to them? Is it just reams and reams of information? Or is it really purposefully set out and organized and delivered to the community? Another great source of information about different schools and teachers are your kindergarten teachers and your early childhood professionals. Kindergartens and schools often have a really great relationship with each other, and they can be a wonderful source of information about particular teachers and schools that you might be looking to go to. The good thing about a kindergarten teacher as well is they'll know your child. They might say, I recommend this teacher to you, but I would be careful about going to this school or this teacher for whatever reason. Like with anything, your kindergarten teacher or your early childhood professional is always a wonderful source of information, so use them when you can. So while all state schools work from the same curriculum, there are differences in the way that they are delivered, and this might become important depending on your child's interests or skills or what you value as a learner yourself. The two main parts of the curriculum, and this is the same in any school, are literacy and numeracy. So your reading, writing, counting, numbers, shapes. These are non-negotiable. These are the way that schools get assessed. This is the way that schools are compared to each other. And this is where the majority of your child's time will go while they're at school. Outside of literacy and numeracy, it's then up to the school to determine how they are going to deliver the rest of the curriculum and the provisions and resources that they're going to put into each subject. You might find that some schools really value science and technology, or STEM, as it's really trendy to call it at the moment, STEM. You might find that some schools really heavily focus on music and that's what they value, or PE, or whatever it might be. Then you have schools that offer specialist programs like PE, music, art, and the second language that the school learns. And these can be divided up into different time slots depending on how much time and resources the school is able to give to each of these subjects. You might find that some schools offer a weekly music lesson, where others offer it every second week or in alternating terms. So this is the information that you'll need to find out more about. Some schools have a librarian, where others, the classroom teacher, will just take them for their library visits each week. So it's a good opportunity while you're at your school tours and at your information sessions to find out exactly how schools deliver the entire curriculum and the time and resources that they put into each of the subjects. They'll probably be very proud of the things that they put lots of time and effort into and the things that the school is really proud of. If you don't hear something about a subject, whether it's important to you or not, ask them about it. Again, you might find out that it's just one of those forgotten things within a school because the curriculum can be quite crowded. Or you might find that they cover it really, really well. You don't know until you ask. So the next part is composite classes versus straight classes. Composite classes just means there's more than one age group in one classroom, and straight classes just means all the children are in the 1 year level. There is no one better way to do this. People quite often have really strong opinions one way or the other on this, and that usually comes down to personal experience. The reality is that within any classroom there is a range of learners, and good teachers will be able to cater for any range in development and academic understanding. So whether it's a straight class or a composite class, it really does come down to the way that the school organises it and the competency of each teacher individually. So make sure you have an open mind about composite classes and straight classes, because both can be fantastic and both can be challenging at the same time. And sharing information between home and the school and home is a really important part of school life. Finding out the way that the school communicates general information with the families is really important. Quite often schools have an app or an email system that will get information to you nice and easily and conveniently, but finding out exactly how that happens is really important. And the other part of the school sharing information with you is find out how the school shares the learning that's happening at the school as well. Something that's come up through remote learning last year is that we had so many families that said, this is actually wonderful. We're loving doing remote learning because we're actually finding out what our children are doing at school, and we're getting a really good understanding of what they're really good at and what they need to work a little bit harder on, or what they have a few misconceptions about. So the way that schools are able to share the children's learning has come into focus for a lot of schools because it really builds community and lets families in on exactly what's happening at school with their children. So the main things to remember about finding the right school for you is have a look around, shop around to different schools. Make sure you go to information sessions and go on school tours. Go on more than one if you'd like. You might just feel like you got a really good day or a really bad day when you went on your tour, and see if it's the same the next time you go. Make sure you do find a school that is going to work for you and your lifestyle as well. There's no point going outside your zone if you need to go 20 minutes against the traffic and you're not going to be able to drop your child off at an appropriate time or pick them up when it's pickup time. You don't need that extra stress on yourself. It has to work for you and where you live and your lifestyle as well. But there are a lot of extra little things that do come into play, and the choice you make now, it does last for 7 years. And like I said, if you have more than one child, it's 10 years or 15 years or beyond if you're really lucky. You do become part of a school community, and making sure that you pick the right school is going to pay dividends for you and your child for a long time to come. You'll be happy, they'll be happy, and the way that they learn will be the best that it can possibly be. So thanks for listening, and the same as always, if you do have any questions, please feel free to email the school or email me. I'm always happy to help out with extra information, and hopefully we'll see you all on a school tour and our information session. Thanks everyone. Bye.